let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. If you're sitting down if you're sitting at your desk with your legs down, you just have them in a parallel position. And just bring your attention down to your feet, regardless of whether they're on the floor or underneath your legs in cross-legged position. Just take a nice deep breath and allow yourself to land. Feel the weight of your thighs on your chair and your sits bones on the chair. So the weight of your pelvis on the chair. Feel your hands in your lap. Now align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And just imagine you have this beautiful string of pearls of light, your spine, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen your spine. And then bring your attention to the crown and just see if you can feel any sensation there. Just notice maybe there's some pressure or tingling. Maybe there's some heat. And then just see if you can relax your scalp. And then notice then your face relaxing as well. And relax your forehead and your eyes, back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the tongue. Put some length in the back of your neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And bring your attention to your breath, just noticing the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. The air flowing in through the nostrils, exhaling through the nostrils. So you'll feel sensations there, and then the sensations all around your chest cavity, and then your belly. And then be aware of any distractions in your environment, any sound, particularly sound. So try not to investigate with your mind. You might also feel vibration as someone's walking around the home. If if your house is made of wood, maybe you have pets, someone shuts a door somewhere. Just allow it all to be there. And then just check in with your mind this evening, this afternoon, this morning, and see how you're feeling. Just check in with yourself. And then just watch the thoughts as they bubble up. See what's there. See whether it's, just check in to see whether you're not creating a movie about something in the future. And then try not to judge what's in your mind or have opinions, Just allow it all to be there. And just remembering, however you're turning up this evening is just totally fine. Just be where you're at. And then bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers, the ones we don't like so much. Remembering they're all equal. They want to be happy and they don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. And just think of Bree. She's either recovering from surgery or in the middle of it, as Jerry said. But just send her some good thoughts. So here we are again. There is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification practice is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so here we have this little section on developing compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result of suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body and fills you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrabami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seka A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seka a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seka a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seka A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. Except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sutta me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Me Boa Sutokaya Me Boa Sipokaya Me Boa Anarakta Me Boa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum. Okay. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's like you're walking into a dark room and you flick on the switch and the light comes instantly. So this is what happens to the delusions. They get instantaneously eradicated, dispelled instantly by the light from Vajrasattva's heart when it hits your heart chakra. So all your darkness, all the darkness of the mind and attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Seka A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawasidi me piyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya saka a hum pe vajrasafa samayam manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawasidi me piyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you imagine the nectar flowing down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. And the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and blasts all of the delusions. So in this way, eradicates even the very subtle imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me sitam triyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya sepa a hum pe vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Setra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Setra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Setra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Saka A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Saka A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mutta Vajra Bawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now is the power of resolve. So it's the fourth and the final step in this purification practice, and it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new direction. So Rinpoche used to talk about everything being on the tip of the wishes, the aspiration. So you aspire. You aspire to refrain from harming, and then think of a plan. How am I going to go about this? And so this is where you can use your creative imagination. Just think of something that you would like to work on. So maybe you just say, well, next time I'm waiting at a traffic light, I'll think about this thing. Think about, obviously the thing you need to think about, you have to be aware of, you've got to be aware that you're doing something that might be harmful to yourself or others. So just think of one little tiny thing. Don't make it a big deal. Just do it a little bit every day. And the Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend meditate a little bit on emptiness. So he'd say, like, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So then we have chanting the names of Manjushri. The Vajra born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty, with his single dreadlock, his clothes an elephant's raw hide, still moist. The great terrific one who cries ha-ha, who screams he, instilling fervent fear, his laugh a screeching laugh, a booming laugh. He is the Vajra laugh, the mighty howl. He is the noble Sattva, Vajrasattva, the Vajra's sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra Humkara. Some of this is quite dramatic. All right, everybody. Lots of love, and have a strong wish for His Holiness to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then for all of your own individual teachers. Have long, healthy, happy lives.